All right, we're going to begin because I said earlier, so many people come on early, and that's important. It's important for them. So I can tell you that yesterday we had a delightful time of viewing the performance art by J.E. Franklin. She's not on yet. I'm hoping she'll get on in a minute because she will also be one of the contributors. Our theme today is wisdom, wisdom by the membership, wisdom by the membership. Okay,
What's that?
that is information that you can share with members of the Imani Group network,
Mm.
and because basically we gather here together, the Imani Group, because we want to be in a position to help each other as far as giving them ideas and support whenever they need it. And I think we started out years ago talking about how so many of us live so close to each other, and many of us don't even know what professions we are in each other. Uh, so it's good to come together and get to know people like they did in the old country and help them when they're in need, give them advice and or share some good ideas. Okay. Hi, Aisha. How are you doing? That's Aisha. So we're going to wait a couple of minutes and hopefully JE is one of the contributors. Brother Leroy is one of the contributors to today's theme of which is wisdom coming from the membership. Um, Dr. Michelle, we mentioned earlier, I think we talked last, oh, she has to unmute.
I can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me?
Of course, you just won't be able to hear me when I'm muted. That's all.
Okay, all right. So you are going to be one of those individuals who will be sharing information tonight, wisdom from the membership, okay? Did you hear me?
Yes, I heard you, but I was not aware. I did not prepare anything.
Okay, that was about a week ago.
Okay.
We said there'd be like 7 minutes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You remember me saying that?
I do.
Okay. I mean, you do so much that, I guess you have to sort it out.
Okay. I got you.
While we have Joyce on, Joyce can talk about
Hi.
her program.
Program.
Okay. Norman has a problem getting on, apparently. He said, where is it? Okay. Okay. Okay, I don't know. I don't know how to get Norman on. Because it was sent to him twice, you know?
You want me to send the link?
If you can, that would be very, I'd be very grateful for that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Brother Leroy,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna put you on, maybe third,
Yes, ma'am.
because I want everyone to hear that. I didn't get a chance to send out the link. Dr. Velma Bowles was on last week, uh, and she made some powerful statements about all of us as a people and what we can do. I think what I can recall is she said, education is power / no. Education is fuel.
Knowledge is fuel.
Okay.
In
Okay.
other words, she said, we're in the habit of giving knowledge, I'm paraphrasing, and assuming that folks will take action on the knowledge. It's not necessarily so. She said, what we have to do is make the knowledge actionable, that there's some action that is solicited from the listener or given to the listener based on the knowledge that one has just provided.
I totally agree with that.
Okay, good. Thank you for that. Okay.
Because can I say something? This is Joyce, really quickly.
Sure.
We would have our family gatherings, and my brothers would laugh at me because they'd always say, oh, there's Joyce with her rabbit food. I'd always make a big salad. Well, it got to the point where I had to take my salad off the top because everybody, when I would look, the bowl would be cleaned, okay? Everybody realized their doctors were telling them, you've got to eat more raw food, more vegetables. You've got to eat the vegetables. So I have to agree with that statement. Thank you for it. I saw how it worked with my family. I didn't say anything. I just show up with the salad and let them laugh.
Okay, beautiful. Okay. Make the knowledge actionable. Okay. Okay. I think Aisha, hello. I don't know if she's
Yes, I can hear you.
okay, great, great. While we're waiting for 1 or 2 more people to come to the meeting, you have something you want to share with us?
Well, yeah, I as you know, I'm involved in financial services, and what I think is that economic power is the foundation of anything that we're going to do, including education, because it seems like unless somebody has the impetus to go out and do their own research, they need to have a structured education. Structured education always costs money. We have economic foundation is at the basis of anything we're going to do, politically or otherwise.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Economics.
Today I was listening to Yatrice Lead, and she was talking about Breonna Taylor. And her comments I did not readily agree with, but I thought it was important for us to listen to her. You know, she talked about the fact that, you know, how life was cheated, and when it came to Breonna, her life. But she felt that, you know, we have to get to the point as Black women to decide on what is it we really want. You know, I was talking to a young man about that today. And he said, well, you know, my mother, his mother taught the girls that they have to make a living and fend for themselves, you know? And if you're interested in hearing Yatrice, you could call me later. Because as I said, I know what Yatrice was, I felt her pain as she was sharing her comments with her on her broadcast. But You know, we can disagree, but we can also agree. I saw some good in what Nutrice said, and I also saw the pain that she had within herself, even speaking about what happened to that young lady.
Hello,
Esther?
this is Vina. So the girl this is the one that got shot in her apartment.
That is correct.
Yes,
Yeah.
in
So
Louisville.
what is you, Teresa's leader on that?
Well, I would prefer that I give you her,
I know her call number.
okay, yeah. And it's repeated. It's repeated,
Okay.
you know, and
So
I think
Esther?
it's only fair. Okay, that's Ms. Franklin, I thought.
Es-
Okay.
Esther,
Yeah.
regarding Breonna
Speak to
Taylor.
everybody. Speak to everybody. Yeah.
So no, I just wanted to just jump in. I was
Okay.
just wanted you to acknowledge that I could. That's basically why I
Okay.
said your name. So regarding Breonna Taylor, I have been very unsettled by the settlement.
I'm turning it off. Don't worry.
I agree with that.
You
I
were very
felt
unsettled.
I can't hear.
Okay, hold tight.
Phone.
when the
Yeah.
phone stops ringing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is what happens, and I promise. Hello? Norman? Okay, Michelle is gonna send it to you.
I sent it to him already.
She sent you it already.
If he just clicks on the Zoom link, he should come right in.
Click on the Zoom link, you'll come right in, okay? Okay, we started already, Norman, try it.
Yeah, and I sent it to both his emails.
She sent it to both your emails, okay? All right,
So,
Michelle.
so I was saying, so just so that everybody's on the same page, Breonna Taylor is the young EMT woman who was in her bed sleeping, who was shot 8 times by the Louisville, Kentucky police. They had a no-knock warrant was made on her home, and
Wrong address.
which it was the right address. What it was that it was bad information, because it was an ex-boyfriend of hers who was already, by the way, in jail. And they used a battering ram in order to enter her place, her residence. She and her boyfriend were sleeping in bed. The boyfriend had a licensed gun and thought that they were being robbed in the middle of the night. It was literally, I think, like 4 a.m. in the morning. And he woke up and he actually fired a warning shot, whereupon the police riddled her body with 8 bullets while she was sleeping. So anyway, the issue that I had is that I guess it's been about 2 or 3 days ago, the mother accepted a settlement of $12 million as a result of her wrongful death. And I have not been able to sleep ever since. I mean, I literally have these dreams, and it just seems to be, first of all, the mother did say that this was just the beginning.
Okay, call back.
And I'm not sure what she meant by that, other than the fact that she did say she wanted the police to be arrested and to stand trial. But this monetary value on her life, which I think was ridiculous, $12 million is nothing compared to this lady's life, who absolutely did nothing other than sleeping in her bed. And I said to myself, so if there was a child in that bed, if there was, another person, because she was not any threat to them whatsoever. So I want to find out from the police how they justify shooting a woman sleeping in her bed 8 times. And what threat she posed, because they're supposed to shoot when there's imminent threat to their life.
First they had
Oh,
no-
so that's how so many of our people are shot in the back, huh?
Exactly. Well, you know,
Yeah,
they
imminent
twist it
threat.
around saying that, of course, you know, and you hear the stories how they've twisted it around. But
Yeah.
at least, and sometimes they, you know, they'll say, well, you know, I was in fear, you know, this is their running
Yeah,
thing.
fearful
I'm
of
in
my
fear
life.
of
Yeah.
my life. I'm in fear.
Mhm.
I want to know, what was their fear of a sleeping woman? That's
Why
what I
don't they
would like
get
them to.
another job? They need to go into another vocation
Yeah,
if they're so
obviously,
scared.
if they're that scared, they need to have another job. They actually need, but more importantly, the police obviously have extremely poor training, and they have extremely poor ability to weed out people who should not be in the police department.
That's the issue.
Well, first of all, they're the wrong place.
Well,
The
my
warrant
understanding
process-
was that it wasn't the wrong place. I thought that what it was that this was an ex-boyfriend of hers who they thought that they would find at her address.
Well,
But
one of
but
the
the-
issues.
but the
But he was
boyfriend
already
was
in
actually in
custody.
Wait, we
jail.
can't all
He was-
talk together, please, you all. Everybody's talking at once.
Okay, go on, Bina, what did you say?
That person was already in custody.
Yes, that's what they
Exactly.
said. Mhm.
Exactly. That's what I said in the beginning.
Mhm.
Okay,
He had already been arrested and he was in custody. So the address, although it was the correct address, and I just want to just clear, it wasn't the wrong address. It was the wrong place because they had no reason to expect that he would be there since they already had him in custody. And then the other part of this is, of course, there were no drugs found. There was nothing found in her place whatsoever that would have justified the warrant.
mhm,
Well, what they're using is the fact that the boyfriend shot supposedly
That's a
one of the
self-defense.
policemen in the leg or knee or something.
He was supposed
Shot
to do
one of, huh?
He was supposed to do that.
He was supposed to do
He was
well.
defending himself. And somebody gives you
Yeah.
a knocks on. I don't care if they knocked on the door, but they came in and hit him with a battering ram, and he jumped up and pulled out his gun and fired a shot. You better believe he was defending his property.
Exactly. Not
Well,
only
they put
that,
him in jail.
Right.
Yeah, but he-
No, they
he would
took
have
him out
been,
of
he
jail.
would have,
They
he
thought-
would have actually.
They put him in jail, but he's out.
Exactly. No, well, they've dropped all the charges against him.
Exactly.
And it's only after the fact. It's only after the fact of all of the protests and all that he actually is no longer in jail.
okay,
Because they actually was saying that, you know, he was that he had attempted murder of a police officer. That's what they had him.
Yeah.
That was the charge that they made.
we're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
go
she's
on
sure.
for another 5 minutes, and I'm gonna send the ID number to JE, okay?
Mhm.
So keep talking for another.
You know,
5
that's right up there with the young guy that was shot up in Wisconsin, with him being handcuffed to the bed. His dad had to fight to get this young man, get the handcuffs off of him. He's paralyzed and he's handcuffed in a bed because he's under arrest. Where was he going to run?
First of all,
The
he
stuff
hadn't done
boggles
anything.
your mind.
First of all, he hadn't done anything wrong. And
Exactly.
The fact that he was handcuffed to bed was a total aberration of justice. And his shooting was an aberration of justice. So, I mean, when we go reverse back, they were simply just covering their behinds. I mean, this is just like the same thing that happens with these so-called, it's kind of a stretch, these so-called targeting of these black pharmacists. I mean, we've done nothing wrong except do what we're supposed to do, and yet they have manufactured a crime on what they're doing, come in and seize their property. And if you look at my last article that I wrote and published yesterday, CVS was charged in criminal fraud 399 times in a 20-year period, fined $102 billion. Pull this up, and that you're within the norms. And no, not one CVS executive went to prison, and not one CVS executive, not one CVS store lost its DEA certificate. And yet these black pharmacies that come in, they come in, run these fictitious charges and take their property and take their ability, their licenses to take their
Make
license.
a
Same
living.
thing. Same thing.
Unreal. Unreal.
It's a selective in what we call, so then they talk about the law. I tell them, are you talking about the law or the selective enforcement of the law? And over a 20-year period, these large chains like Walgreens and CVS have been admitted to committing drug crimes. And more importantly, if they were following the law, they should have never. These CVS and Walgreens shouldn't exist, because under the OIG, or the Office of Inspector General, if you plead guilty to a federal crime, you're suspended from 15 to 20 years. And you cannot build a suspended from participating in any federal program. These companies freely participate in federal programs, such as the COVID-19 testing project and that sort of thing. And yet, again, are they talking about the law or the selective enforcement of the law? You see the same thing with these in the street, when you have people stop without warrants and then executed.
Mm-hmm. Well, tell me this as a pharmacist, Norm.
Yes, ma'am.
How are they able to just give people vaccinations, not having their medical record at hand, not knowing if this individual is allergic to anything in that vaccination?
Well,
you can walk into any Walgreens or CVS and stick your arm out and get what?
That is true. But there is information that is gathered so that they can get a pretty good idea of what sort of vaccination is needed, and they're now charted on computer. So yeah, that is a question, but we've tried to screen for that and stuff. I got Brother Marty here on the phone. Yeah.
Well, they take them in a little cubicle. I don't see a computer.
Hold on, let him finish. Okay.
Well, again, there is in some of these cases, and like you are charted on their computer, and it's supposed to cross references any place you've been and those sort of things. But you know, the system is kind of loosely set up, I can say. But it does enough. So in other words, you want to know if somebody coming and get multiple vaccines and multiple injections. I mean, I'm sure that happens, but the system does try to screen you out for that. Okay. And in this case, getting multiple injections in terms of trying to get a vaccine will have no value to it all, a value to it all. So that's what
we have 2 more minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It's 6:58. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think Stu stepped away, and that's why JE is not able to get on. Okay.
But here with Brother Blake, as with Tiana Taylor, you still have yet to see any movement in terms of charges being filed against these officers. In Kentucky, you have David Cameron, I believe he's the Attorney General. He's, of course, we all know that he's black. He has not moved to file any charges against these people. Now, a good background check. One of the things I did was with David Cameron, because he did speak before the Republican convention. One of the things I did was I checked him to see if he was a member of the Federalist Society, and sure enough, he is a member of the Federalist Society.
That figures.
And so, yeah, and there's a video of him.
That figures.
And they had a meeting in Kentucky, and David Cameron did participate in there. So here's a man that comes in and talks about, well, there is no racism. We don't try. We try to be fair in the court. But yet, when you look at the book, the Federalist Society, you will quickly see that within that book, it says on page 99, our organization opposes anything to do with diversity and racial things related to affirmative action. I have the book back over here someplace, but I can pull that up and get the actual quote. But in fact, how can you then tell me that this is not a racial, that there's no racial disparities, and yet the type of judges that are being selected are those that belong to the textualism class that say that the original intent of the Constitution excludes Black folk, you know, and this sort of thing, talking about affirmative action, and you're opposed to diversity. I mean, if I read this stuff to you, or you better yet, you said the reason why this organization was formed because of the Southerners being upset about Brown v. Board of Education. That's what it says in the opening page, and that the Northerners are afraid of government control. So the Libertarians and the Southern Dixiecrats got together in the University of Chicago and Dartmouth University and formed the Federalist Society. And their game was as it says, to pass the best way to, their policy, the best way to change law is to change the judges. And you get these judges with like mind and stuff. And so over a period of 30, 40, 50 years, okay, you've seen this, and this started in the 80s, so maybe 40 years, as I said, in a period of 40 years, this organization has started as a think tank in law schools in this country with law students, has grown into the very organization, a clan, what I call a Klansman organization with law degrees that selects your federal judges.
And Trump just put 200 of them on the bench. So even when he's gone, you'll come in contact with Trump Jr. on the benches.
So what we do, the way we can remedy that situation is if Joe Biden is elected and Kamala Harris is elected, the first thing we need to do is again, have our list ready to say this person needs to be a judge, this person needs to be a judge. You need to get more Black female judges and Black male judges at the appeals court level and fill these positions, and get rid of this filibuster in the Senate, so we can just do the very same thing they did, override them and pay deep. Or you can also expand the federal bench by getting rid of certain courts that they have present now that operate outside the rules of federal procedures, rules of evidence of federal procedures. Incorporate that into a district court procedure, and you'll gain about 200 judges that way. But I'm not an attorney, so we can ask somebody who's learned in this field about that. But there are things that we can do to remedy this situation in terms of.
Yeah, we should have been getting rid of that electoral college.
Well, the electoral college is another, but the most important thing
that's
is
who put those people in the White House. Gore lost because of the electoral college.
The electoral college is a decision-making body that.
Where did it come from?
It's an electoral body that selects the president, deals with selecting the presidents of the United States and stuff. So that's kind of like that needs to be addressed too. That's like a separate issue here. But federal courts, the operation of the federal courts and our district courts and our state district courts, come about by voting, by people going out and voting. You wouldn't have this situation that votes been excluded in Michigan. And 75,000 votes in the Detroit area alone were excluded. We need lawyers that are out there challenging these ballots, just like the Trump people challenge every district, every precinct. They have people out there challenging the count of the ballots. We need that countermeasure program too, and stuff. And so we need our lawyers in place and pay deep consciousness to this area.
There's a couple of things I just wanted to say. I want to jump in because as one of several of Trump's picks are actually unqualified candidates for judges.
Right.
One of the
Absolutely.
most recent one was a white woman who is a recent graduate of law school. She's never served in any capacity as a judge whatsoever, and she's been
sitting on the
slated to
federal
be a federal judge, which is unheard of.
Well, Michelle, you know what's good about that? Remember now, what's good about that is that if you're you can't ever challenge any black person now that you say, well, they don't meet the qualification when you got this kind of mess that's going on in our federal court system.
But
folks so
they
we can make
so
that
Norm,
argument.
that doesn't make any difference to them because they have in the
Right.
past, as you know, they
Well,
prevented Obama from getting a
Putting-
Supreme Court judge for over a
Right.
year. Let me just
remember
finish.
how that was done. They held the majority in the Senate, so they didn't even bother to have hearings. If we get the majority in the Senate,
which is why the most important thing, in my opinion, is not even the presidency. It's getting the
Control.
Senate back and
Right.
getting control of the Senate. Because even if Trump would win, he would be stopped from doing the things that he's currently doing.
And
Because
he
Mitch
could be-
McConnell and the current Senate is holding up so many bills
Mhm.
that have been put through by the House of Representatives,
Yeah,
and they have actually prohibited law from
Mhm.
being enacted. So
yes, ma'am.
so I think that focusing just on we need to focus on many things, but I think the Senate is one of the most important parts that we need to focus on.
Absolutely. So that means that states that are in play, we need to take, if we look at those states, Colorado is one, they have one senator. Georgia's a pretty important one because they have two senators coming up for you. And Arizona is an important one. Holding that seat in Alabama is important. And most importantly, we can get rid of Susan Collins quite easily. Your boy Graham down in South Carolina. I know y'all hate to hear that.
And Mitch McConnell too.
And Mitch McConnell.
Mitch
Yes,
McConnell.
ma'am.
Mhm.
And
Mitch McConnell especially.
Absolutely. Because he's nothing but another
He
Klan
needs to be
carrying along.
exactly. Well, he is the Klan.
Yeah, and from Alabama. This folks said,
No, he's not.
Trust, we got
He's
clanners here in New York, so hey, listen,
That's
I don't go along with that geography stuff, okay?
Exactly, I
They're
agree.
all over the place.
I agree with that.
And I always said, when I went to the South, it only made me recognize the Klan here in New York much better.
Yes, it's
Much
a
better.
mindset of the Klan mindset. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, they died the
In fact,
sheep.
the largest chapter of the Ku Klux Klan was in Indiana. Second, that was Michigan.
Exactly.
So we
And don't forget all the white militia that went to Montana and Washington State.
Michigan.
And Michigan. Yep. All these quote northern states.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, ma'am. That's exactly correct. So when we talk about removing you're precisely correct. We got to get our friends who are living in these states, call them up and says, are you voting? Are you voting early? And try to vote in person. And the same thing with South Carolina. If you know folks in South Carolina, they've got to get out there and vote too. And we can't sit at home this election. I got too many people. In fact, I got arguing with two brothers down at the barbershop. One is named Jay. We've been I've called him out before, who won't vote. He says, I'm not voting. I can't get this brother. He's a good barber, but he doesn't want to vote. You know?
Does he tell you why? Why he doesn't want to?
He comes up with all kind of what we call moving reasons why every time I come in. But I've been in the barbershop on the phone with Reverend Al Sharpton and with Clay Kane, and they both had to get in his mix about that. But we were talking about that today at the barbershop. But the point is, we've got to get people to go out there and exercise a bunch of different exercise their vote and the importance of their vote, because that's precisely why we are where we are now. Why we are where we are now because of 2010 folks decided to sit down. I'm not taking too much time there, Esther. It's past 2 minutes. And then in 2016, where folks decided, I'm mad at Hillary. I don't want a woman there. well, you know, I had mixed feelings about Hillary. I think I'll go vote for Jill Stein and somebody else. Now we got another opportunity to vote for Kanye West, I believe it is, in Colorado right now. Those who love Kanye, you know. So.
Well, he missed,
Well,
where did he missed, where was it that he missed the time by 14 seconds or something?
That was that Colorado yesterday?
I think that was, yeah, so the judge already ruled against him.
Uh-huh, yeah.
well, he couldn't do any.
Five.
He couldn't be any worse than the one that's in there. What the hell? But I'm going back to.
But he can't
that's
win.
how I feel. He can't do any more than this one that's in there. He can't
No, but
be
that's
any
not
worse.
the point. Excuse me,
Michelle,
that's not the point. The point was to take away votes, especially black men's votes from the Democratic ticket, so that Trump would be assured of coming in. That's the whole point.
Yes, ma'am.
They already knew that he was not going to win because he's not even running in enough states to win.
Hey, Michelle, can I ask you a question? Michelle.
Yes.
Can I ask you a question? Who that in that picture there?
Huh?
All of a sudden, you went through some metamorphosis. I saw your face when you're there, and now there's a lady here, a picture of you, somebody perpetrating you right now. What's
No,
going
that's
on
me.
here? That's you?
That's me. It's just that I'm eating.
Oh, you eating. Oh.
So I put my picture up so that I can eat.
Okay. I was gonna run the lady off I was gonna try to run her off the bus. You know, who is there trying to perpetrate Michelle? I know that was
That's
you.
me.
I don't like Michelle.
That's me.
Well, I keep alluding to that electoral college. Gore had more votes than Bush. Hillary had more votes than Trump. Look who's in the White House. Both those elections.
Well,
I don't know. I just keep seeing that.
There was
I agree with
massive
you.
cheating.
2 million, 3 million.
I agree.
Gore had 2 million more. Hillary had 3 million more. What happened?
Okay.
I thought it was one person, one vote.
Massive cheating.
So,
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Can you?
Yeah.
Can I?
Okay, can you hear me?
Brother Marty here. Brother Marty, you still there?
Hello?
Yeah.
yes, we hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
What
Michelle
happened
back. That
was,
lady gone.
what happened was, Norman,
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
trying to get Brother Leroy in, all right?
Yeah.
You know why? I'm about to say something not too nice. Okay? All right. Brother Leroy, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Good morning.
All
Good
right.
afternoon, Brother Leroy.
No, everyone has to be muted.
Okay.
Okay? I think we're going to start with you, Brother Leroy, because I need to find the guard within me. Okay. Okay.
Maybe. Oh, man.
Because this is our first member who's going to be sharing wisdom.
Well, good evening, and thank you for the invitation to share a little bit of information that can possibly lead to action, self-action on the parts of everyone here, including myself. Sister Esther and I were in conversation the other day, and I brought up the notion, the concept, the reality of the God within. And she asked me to expound on that, and I did a little bit and invited, that's how I'm invited here tonight. I'm not interested in pushing religion or spirituality on anyone here, simply because Black people are spiritual from the jump, whether they understand it, whether they know it or not. So here's what I'm going to touch on: scripture. I'm going to touch on history. I'm going to touch on the womb of the woman. I'm going to touch on the mind of everybody. So the God within. In scripture, there is the phrase, "Ye are all God's children of the Most High God." We hear it, we say it, or do we examine it? Ye are all God's children of the Most High God. So if you're a child of someone, you're carrying a DNA of that someone. Let's go quickly to another Bible or scripture reference. You have Peter walking water after he saw Jesus walking water. Jesus walking water. So Peter said, yo, can I do it? Jesus said, yeah, man, come on. So Peter was walking water. Then he began to sing. Jesus told him, that's because you lack confidence. No, I'm sorry, that you lack faith.
Faith.
And I'm going to go back to that. You lack faith. So what he was saying, he didn't say you lack faith in God, you didn't lack faith in me. He said you lack faith, and that is faith in oneself,
So,
otherwise known as self-confidence. When you look up the word confidence, you see the word confide.
I,
And in confidence is trust. You'll see firm trust. But a very key element in the definition of confidence is attitude, the attitude of firm trust, the attitude of firm trust. So we're talking about a mindset where one is already set up to be trusting in oneself when one considers self-confidence. Self-confidence before confidence in someone else. All right, history. Who is the original man? All of the diggings of the Europeans, wherever they go on the planet, but particularly in Africa, the original man, the original woman, the origin is traced to us as a people. So, God, if we believe in a supreme being, and Africans do have a system of belief, I'm talking about where we came from. There's a system of belief, but the system of belief is universal. The Africans, when I say the Africans, African religion and philosophy has a hierarchy of gods. There is a supreme God, and then there are these other sub-gods, that's my term, sub-gods that we look at in terms of their attributes. And that carries, well, that carries over to Catholicism. Catholicism is based on the structure of African religion and philosophy, but that's another story. I'm dealing with the God within, the womb of the woman. The womb of the woman is the source of creation, and creator and creation and God, you're dealing with the God quality of creating. So when we value the woman is valued not as a plaything, but that individual, that creature that will perpetuate our race or our people or humanity. The mind of everyone is like a womb. When it hears the truth, it reacts to it. When one hears the truth, one reacts to it. And going back to the womb of the woman. The womb of the woman, every person who is born has a talent and a gift. They do not necessarily know it in the beginning, in the young stage, early stages. There's a system within African religion and philosophy where they don't name the child until some days after the birth, because they're looking to see what spirit or spirits are attached to it that would give it certain abilities, etc. But pushing that aside, we do know that every human being is born with a talent and a gift. And when they find it, when that seed in them is nurtured, then you have an unbeatable force, someone who loves to cook, someone who loves to create, someone who loves to draw, someone who loves to build, someone who loves to analyze. They get into, in the common term is zone, they get into a zone of creation. That's a manifestation of the God within. So the Creator has given us all, has impregnated us, every human being, with that talent, with that gift that hopefully we discover before we pass on. Now, what do we do with this? If one considers the God within is a reality, if one considers that there is talent and gifts in everyone, then one has a greater respect for his or herself and for others. Maybe not immediately, but if they keep in mind, I'm looking at a creature carrying an element of God, namaskar, salute to God, the God in me salutes to God in you.
God in you.
That if we consider the God within, then we will have greater value in our eyes and mind for other people. And I'm dealing specifically with Black people. When you see a Black person walking down the street, you're looking at God. When you see a person in the gutter, that's a casualty of war. The casualty of war is not symbolic, but in actuality in the system in which we are, which is geared to our shortivity, not our longevity. So the value, the action coming out of it is how we see ourselves, the examining of what the points that I laid out, examining, don't believe anything I say, but if you hear it, you gotta examine it for yourself. You find something that's not true, doesn't fit, we come back at another time and discuss it. So the action is how we look at ourselves, the attitude of trust, firm trust in ourselves, and the attitude of how we look at other of our people. Peace.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
That was great.
All right, Joyce,
That was good.
Dina,
Yeah. You.
Yeah.
Franklin.
Huh?
Since you just came on, I had asked you to make some
No,
comments.
I heard Dr. Michelle and Norman and Brother Leroy.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so would you like to make some comments about what happened yesterday and the fact that it's something new for us doing it, but if we all get together and have confidence in ourselves and trust each other, I'm taking off on what Brother Leroy said.
Yeah.
We will be very successful. Okay?
Sky's the limit.
Point.
We will
Yeah.
be very, very successful. It was, it's an opportunity, and we will not miss opportunities.
Right.
What happened yesterday, we got a lot of comments from the people who signed on. It was a good time, but hopefully we're going to have everyone to listen to what happened yesterday. And then
Yesterday we did two.
Yeah.
There was really short stories. They had been plays, and I turned them into short stories so that they could be performed by one actress, because we're not able to get back into our space at the dryer where all the where we would have been able to cast all of the actors in the play. So I compressed everything into a short story. And Miss Bonnie Burroughs, who was just awarded the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Off Broadway Alliance, performed both of the plays. And they were, she performed them as memory pieces as an adult looking back upon her childhood and trying to recover and recall the first time she was introduced to the idea of race and race as a crime thing. That all before that she had only understood race as a foot race, as a contest between people running races, the 220, the 440, the 880, and the 100-yard dash. And as a child, that's all she understood, and that's all her siblings and her friends understood. They didn't know what race was in terms of relations between white and colored people in the South. This was the two stories were set in the South in the early 40s, and she's looking back over what that experience was like. And I think she did a magnificent job, and so there were audience members who responded to a number of questions, about 3 or 4 questions that we were able to ask about the material itself and the theme and what was their first time encountering this notion of race as a crime thing when they were children, and how that impacted on their lives. And that's basically how the 2 pieces were presented.
Interesting.
I think what was interesting was I realized that Vinnie Burroughs was playing several parts.
Played all of them.
Yeah. And there were quite a few of them, you know.
It gave people an opportunity to see how one actress could perform every single role in a play or a story. And she did 2, and so I think there were 4 different roles in the first play, and she performed them all with her voice and, different intonations of her voice to express the character. And in the second piece, there were several voices, court voices, the voices of the judges, the voices of a teacher, the principal, and she did all of them. So it was anyone who has never seen a one woman show or a one man show, you should try it. Sometimes see how the actor or the actress is able to move from one character to the next. You have to be very, very skillful in order to do that.
Okay.
Make it believable.
So, Brother Leroy, are you still there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. One of your comments, you told me it was quite a treat the other day.
It was entertainment for me. In the beginning of the week, it was great pleasure hearing and seeing my sister do the multiple parts. The writing, definitely storytelling. I loved it. The content of history within the two plays, history of how we interact in our own families and outside. It was fantastic. I shared that it reminded me, it's not the same, but it reminded me of the stories that J. California Cooper tells in her short stories, which are very, very interesting. Anyone who hasn't read J. California Cooper should read her short stories. But in terms of Jay Franklin's piece, I believe if it's not up there already in the YouTube, that once it goes up, it's going to be enjoyed by those who take time to look at it. It's also a teaching tool for our youngsters. Our young youngsters and older ones. So it's a great job, Sister J. Fantastic.
Well, thank you, Brother Leroy.
Okay. All righty. Well, we did have some others. I was thinking of, okay, I don't want to call on Vina yet. Okay, we're moving along. Any other comments? What's been happening during the week? Because some of the folks, our membership who was supposed to be speaking, they couldn't come on today for other reasons. All right, Ms. Garner, any more? Can you hear me? Okay, I'm gonna unmute her. Okay, Aisha, and then Michelle. Michelle, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Any comments on whatever involvements you were in this week? I know you're busy.
Yeah. So, what struck me when Brother Leroy was speaking about the God within was I belong to a mentoring group, which is an African Rites of Passage group. And they have a Blue Nile Creed, which is, I think, kind of like encapsulate a lot of what he said. And I wanted to read it. It's a little long, but I think it's really good when you hear it, because this is what the young people have to learn verbatim as part of their passing through. And they learn this in the months that they're part of the Rites of Passage group. And in order for them to pass through it, they have to learn it by heart. So I'm going to read a little bit of it because I think it's kind of says a lot of what he said. And I think it kind of tells us how we would like our young people to think about themselves. So it starts off, I live not only for myself, but for the betterment of all humankind. I am a man, woman of honor, respect, dignity, and pride, and compassion for those less fortunate than myself. As I go forward in the path of life, I will speak out whenever I see an injustice. For an injustice to one is an injustice to all, an injustice which I may one day befall. I will continue to educate myself, for I must continue to grow, not only physically, but also mentally and spiritually. I will continue to strive to meet my potential, for all the gifts that I possess are the gifts given by God. But what I do with these skills are my gift to God. I will work to be a light among my people, for the uncertainty of our future needs the illumination of truth, righteousness, and victory. I will use my time wisely and productively, for the time waits for no one, and all that I accomplish today leaves more time for me to accomplish more tomorrow. I will never look down on a person who is on drugs, despondent, or homeless, for there but the grace of God go I. I will reach out to teach my sisters and brothers about our rich history and traditions. For to know where we are today and where we are going tomorrow, we must know our past and how far we have already come. I will always honor, respect, and protect our beautiful Black men and women. For their past is my past, their reality is my reality, and their destiny is mine. I will never defame, destroy, or disgrace my name, my body, my environment, or my race. I will never forget those who paved the road on which I walk, for their journey was treacherous, their courage great, their vision keen, their devotion sacred, and their lessons priceless, and my gratitude endless. I will never compromise my moral convictions, for they are the building blocks of my character, for which which represent who I am. I will never forget the lessons I have learned in the Blue Nile Passage, for they are the keys which will unlock the doors to success for myself, my family, and my community. So that's the Blue Nile Passage Creed. And I think it kind of encapsulated a lot of what Brother Leroy said.
I think I have that.
That's beautiful creed.
It's a beautiful creed. It really is.
Was that done by Kojo Ademo? Was he a part of that?
No, that was Cliff Simmons, Gabrielle Baker, and Rochelle. Can't remember Rochelle's last name right now. But anyway, they are the ones that authored the creed.
Did they come out of Butts Church?
Yes, it's all out of Abyssinian.
Yeah.
Abyssinian. So this is Zena, the Institute of Youth and the Blue Nile. Jama, Brother Kojo was up in Co-op City, right? He was a part of that.
Yeah, up in Co-op City, yeah. And Zinga, his wife in Zinga, I know her well.
So, of course, ASCAC had that Institute of Youth. So they started at City College. and then things merge.
Yeah,
Or
because
Yeah,
as she was speaking, it
and
sounded familiar. I know I had read
Yeah.
that before.
and Dr. Ben was also, was a very much part of
Mentor
it.
like.
Mentoring them. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
All right.
Interesting how small this world really is.
Yeah. Well, we have all known each other, right? Before.
Mhm. Mhm.
Sort
Mhm.
of.
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting.
All righty. So, Aisha, are you would like to contribute? Because we have plenty of time now, a little bit.
Aisha.
No, I thought that was a beautiful creed.
Oh, I thought I lost you there for a moment.
No, I'm here.
Okay.
No, and I hesitate
So,
to.
may I just ask, is the group functioning? Is it active? It's quite so hard to get children in these groups,
Yeah. Well, yes, it is still functioning. They had a brief 1-year hiatus, but they're back. And the only thing is right now, as of result of the whole
The
pandemic.
COVID,
Yeah, they were doing a lot of this stuff on Zoom calls and talking to the kids. So they did not have the normal, rites of passage this year, because they would have gone and had a whole bunch of different things that happened in May, but that didn't happen because of COVID. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
My son went through Blue Nile, I guess, he's 21, I would say about 8 years ago. And I've been a mentor there for about 14 years or so.
okay. Yeah, and they're doing great work. Terry Wisdom, who couldn't be with us today, she's another member
Yep.
of that group.
Mhm.
Nadine Johnson,
Yeah, your niece is on the board.
Okay. Right. We definitely support the Green Nile.
Blue Nile.
Blue Nile.
Blue Nile.
Right. Okay.
Interesting. That's good. Yeah.
I just say that, Esther, can I come in?
Yeah. That's so
I
polite.
do have a children's book that's coming out. I talked with the publisher, and he's shipped the books off. He's ordered them to be shipped off, and I'll let everyone know when they arrive. It's based on an Aesop fable about the cool kid, the goat, and the wolf, and it has a moral lesson at the end of that fable, as all of Aesop's fables do. So I'm hoping that everybody in the group will purchase a copy of the book, and if not for yourself, if you know of a child that you would like to gift the book to, I would appreciate your buying a copy.
What age is it geared to, J.A.?
Well, Aesop is ageless, but I would say from K through 12.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'll get a few copies. I have great-grand and grandchildren.
Oh, wonderful.
But I just heard something disturbing on the news today. A lot of the children still don't have tablets and haven't been getting any instructions since the schools closed down.
That's right.
Oh,
That's absolutely true. And we talked about that too, Esther, didn't we, about the digital divide? Because it's not only about the tablets, it's also about the fact that they don't have the network.
Yeah.
And even if they have the network and the tablet, a lot of the parents don't know how to operate it, and they don't know how to really use it in the way that it's intended.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
I'm
what a
sorry.
mess.
You can continue with that, Michelle, but I'm sorry. Stu's not on.
Yeah. 40% of African Americans are lacking because of the digital divide. They said at least 40% of the country has one of those issues. Either a lot of it is just the network alone, because many Black people live in neighborhoods where there's not a sufficient network or bandwidth to allow them to even get on, even if they had it. And, you know, they've given these tablets, they say, with hotspots, but a lot of it requires a very large bandwidth because of the amount of information that is being transferred. And so they may have problems. And the other part of this is, just think about it. If you have 2 or 3 children in the same home,
right,
all of them on Zoom or whatever, how are they supposed, where in an apartment building or a house where a home where there are multiple children, do all of these children go in order to get a quiet space to do what they need to do? I don't even know how that happens. And you know that a lot of the more wealthy people are actually hiring master degree teachers and pods where they are, you know, they have like maybe about 4 or 5 children with this teacher.
That's right.
To assist them with the learning that they have. So I have this huge concern about what this pandemic is doing to the education of our children. It's, you know, it puts them at a deficit that may be so large that it'll be very difficult to recover.
They will never catch up.
Yeah, it's
pipeline to prisons.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
And I think also in line, when Michelle was first sharing some of the statistics with me, I think that's what I wanted you to speak on, Michelle, because it wasn't that I was floored by, you know, the research that she's done. I felt that it was a time for us to pick up the banner with this.
Right.
Taking some of the statistics that you mentioned just a moment ago and adding on, because there's much more we need to share besides the 40%. You know, we can even establish, put together a survey, and we can find out in what communities are some of these missing equipment, or you know what they're called.
So I was talking, you know, I was actually talking to someone the other day, and one of the things that was suggested is that, you know, as a quote survey, you could pick, say, one of the housing projects, like if you wanted to look at like grant housing, for example, and do a survey within that housing project and look to HUD and the Department of Education, you know, together for funding to so that those children in that area, you know, that would be one of the like pilot programs that you could look at. And of course, the other area
we could
after this is still. I just wanted to interject.
I'm glad. I was looking for you.
I work with a group called Digital Divide Partners, and we have been working specifically with folks in public housing to help bridge the digital divide. And it's interesting that you talk about grant houses. We've been working there, and a number of the buildings we're providing free Wi-Fi. We also have created some streaming radio stations, both at grant houses and at Johnson houses. And we are in fact looking to different funding sources, including the city and HUD, to help expand what we're doing throughout public housing. We know the problem is tremendous. Public housing has a population of almost 500,000 people, bigger than
city
of Boston. And yet nearly 40%, some estimates as high as 50% of the folks do not have internet access at home. So I mean, that's a real travesty. So that's something that we're working on. And we believe that the access should be free. You're getting a lot of lip service from the commercial providers. Oh, we have this program, a free lunch program. You can get it for $15. You can get it for $10. Well, when you're struggling to put food on the table, keep your kids clothed, and pay your medicine and your transportation costs. You know,
And your
nobody
rent.
can tell you what affordable is. And there's some
Right.
months we just don't have that money to pay for the internet. So it really should be free. It's a human right. And especially during this pandemic, it should be available free. Really, I've looked at all households, but in particular, the households of color and low-income households. So that's something that my group is working on. You can look at our website at ddpny.org to follow some of the things that we're doing. Brother Leroy works with us very closely. He does a lot of programs in addition to this one, based out of Grant Houses, based out of Johnson Houses, to help give a voice to the folks. That's the other thing, is that not just internet access, we need to be able to take these tools into our own hands and use them, like we're doing right here with this conference, and use these broadband tools to really lift ourselves up, to help develop ourselves and our communities. So that's part of our mission and part of what we're doing. So there is some activity out there, excuse me, in the world, and in particular in New York City, attempting to address this issue. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Stuart, can you repeat the website for me again?
Okay, let me give you two sites. One is DDP, stands for Digital Divide Partners, ddpny.org. Second site, where a lot of programming, a lot of the programming is Safe in Smart, SAFE, letter N, SMART.org. SafeInSmart.org. A lot of the programming that we produce is available there.
Okay.
So thank you for that. I didn't want to interrupt the flow.
I wanted you to also add to it that I know you presented a lot of this information before the UN not that long ago.
Yeah.
And what I would like, if you could take part of that, of your presentation, and I could share it with our group.
Well, the entire presentation is available on our website that I just gave you.
Okay.
I'm also, pardon my comment.
Yeah, hold tight. Don't talk. Wait.
Don't talk, just drink.
Yeah, get some water.
Just drink and just don't talk for a little while. Let your throat clear.
I'll be back.
Wait. Don't say nothing. You need to cough.
Yeah. That was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I wish he had been a speaker Saturday when they had that. It was something called Love on the Block in front of St. Nicholas Projects. And I wish he had been a speaker there, because I'm sure that's a part of it.
Well, you must remember that when we gain all of this knowledge, what did Leroy say? Knowledge is fuel.
Yeah.
Are you there, brother?
Knowledge
Yes,
is.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, knowledge is fuel. And I think
Actionable.
I would like to work with, at least Himani Group would like to work with some of the individuals who can share this kind of information with us. Okay, because I think this is more important than opening up the schools, because it's been delayed again, you know, and I don't think the children will be going to school until October 1, maybe.
So
maybe.
I just wanted to say one more thing. In addition to the fact that, you know, this is causing a huge problem with our children's education, there's another part of this, as I said before, that is, this is actually could be a life-saving issue, because when the second wave of COVID comes, if you are not able to access your doctor through telemedicine, to access your pharmacy in a way that will allow you to get, not having to leave the house, you will be forced to go outside. And there are many people who will be putting themselves in jeopardy simply because they do not have the tools with which to keep themselves safe. So to me, it's almost as, we were talking about before, imminent threat. This is an imminent threat to life and safety for our people. And we have to have a way in which to deliver the tools so that people can use them and stay safe.
Okay. Stay safe. Oh boy.
I hope we're all taking notes, because some of these points are very well taken, and we need to use this to as fuel, and we should become actionable.
Yeah. So I said this before. So part of it is I've actually talked to someone, and I may be able to have a source that I can do this in Florida because that's where my parents are, but I would rather do it here, as you probably know. But
well,
I have
do it in both places.
Yeah.
We're on the internet globally.
This is true.
Sharing that with Jay.
But to me, there, as I said before, there two groups that are most vulnerable, and that is our young people and our elderly. And they're both under, they both need this access like no other, So we need to find a way to make this happen.
Okay. Well, we'll touch bases. I know when we were on the last time, we talked about allowing some of our people, even those of us in our group, Himani Group, okay? And I think it was Stu who said he'd be very glad to host something like that also. It's a beginning.
Yeah, I wrote up something and I sent it, I think, to Beverly. She's not on the thing now, but I'll be happy to send it to whoever. I wrote up a little thing based upon last time we were on the call.
Okay, well, we both can do, we can do it. Beverly has some ideas, very good one. And hopefully Himani Group, she's a member of our group, so I hadn't had a chance to talk to her for about a week. So if you could share.
I think she was doing surgery today, so I think that's why she's not on the call.
Okay, because she did get a couple of invites,
Yeah.
She was aware of it.
Yeah, I think she had like a whole group of surgeries that she was doing today. At least that's the last time I talked to her. So.
Okay, she does. Okay, all righty. So that's the story. So we can get some of that information. I have some. I'm really a person. I don't like to have the cat come out of the bag before I'm sure. And I have some ideas that I will share with you maybe by the next meeting. I want to get something going. I have to sit and talk to Doug and Stu first, and some of our members and on the wisdom table and grant houses, because these people are very important people. Also, some of the grant houses directors who are very supportive of our efforts, and the one at Johnson, James Weldon Johnson. So, okay, we're doing pretty good. We have 7 minutes to go. Before I let Brother Norman on, Miss Aisha and Vina, do you have more to say, or do you have any questions?
No, I thought the
I'm just listening and concurring. Very interesting.
Okay.
I thought that the point that Michelle raised about the no internet access.
Yes.
Very apropos. I had not even thought about internet access in relation to being a life-threatening kind of situation, lack of internet access, that is.
Right.
And, that's very true. That's a very good point that she raised, based on just the medical aspect of it and also the educational aspect of it for our children.
And the emotional.
And I think that if you're doing
Yeah,
perhaps
I must say that I had a problem with internet access up in the Bronx. And
so if you're having a problem, then you can imagine
yeah,
that right across from you, and there must be like 2,000 people in that apartment complex. What is that?
yeah, and it had to do with internet access and how they've set up things in such a way that people will become very exasperated, very disgusted. I mean, we had to almost go to the top person in Optimum in order to get internet access. And, you know, there's also opportunities, you know, for our young people. You know, the fellow who eventually came and gave us internet access after we fought a major battle, I'll just put it that way, was a young man. And some of the things that he shared, I think he might have been 22 or 3, and he had his own little business. So it's an opportunity for us to set up businesses for young people. I mean, we do have Kai, he's in that arena. Am I correct? Yeah. Okay. Say that again.
So Kai's area of expertise, although, you know, he like most young people know how to operate most anything.
Okay.
But that's not his area of expertise. You know, he's in a little different area of engineering. So
that shows how much I know. Okay.
But I'll just say this.
He helped me get.
Yeah, well, that's why I said, like most young people, they know, you know, and I mean, he's very, I guess, mechanically adept, so he can figure stuff out. Yeah. But, you know, that's not what he's going to school for. That's the only point I'm making.
Well, you know, Imhotep had many professions.
That's right.
Make sure you remember that. And I might add, since I thought of it for a moment, it was J.E.'s grandson, Eric, who had helped us in accessing, let's say he was a technical assistant for Miss Burroughs. That's Eric Franklin Cash. And he found a great joy in helping her, you know, and getting her set up for the performance art that took place yesterday. So I'd like to always mention their names when they are doing such good things, you know.
I thought you were talking about poor bandwidth when you're talking about internet access.
I am.
Or what?
People needing instruction. I mean,
right.
The major issue is poor bandwidth.
Correct.
Maybe you can explain that.
To get stronger internet, it requires, you know, and that's one of the reasons why some people in your area may have great internet service because they're paying more money. Other people have really lousy internet service. And I think in this area where we live, around 158th and Riverside, we don't have good bandwidth. So we have problems. We move around our apartments and the internet is not satisfactory.
I thought it had to do with that 5G, having that 5G access, which is very toxic to the body, but I thought that was the problem.
No, that's
you
not
have
it.
to pay.
Hold on. We have some people who've done the survey. What, Michelle?
So the 5G is just something that has recently been added. That is it requires, one of the reasons why I think it's so toxic is that I think the actual things have to be put very close together, I think 20 feet, and the 4G was like 200 feet. So you have to have a lot of them in one specific area. And, you know, the concern is your electromagnetic field, and we are all electrical bodies, you know, electrical impulses. So yes, it may interfere with the human body.
The DNA, yeah. But aren't they putting it all around around New York City?
Yeah, the issue of bandwidth has to do with how how much information and how much data that you're able to deliver.
Uh-huh.
Maybe.
And because the children in this case, they have a lot of data going over the network, they may not get that, so they may have interruptions in the service. They may not be able to see the picture correct. They may not see the board correct. There's so many different things. And then the transferring of data back and forth. And as you know, the services that are being provided to neighborhoods where the income is not the same as someone who has a higher income, the service is bad. So for instance, I can remember when I first, I remember when Fios, for instance, Verizon Fios first came out. I remember asking them to come up here and they said, no, we don't come up there. We don't go all the way up there. That was right. So that is a typical response for many of these providers, service providers, internet service providers, to neighborhoods that are largely Black. It's no different from redlining in terms of, you know, your ability to buy real estate. So redlining affects everything. It affects the neighborhood, the services, the garbage, the pickup service, your house, your restaurant, your internet, everything. It affects everything, and you get shafted because of that. And as Black people, when we live in certain neighborhoods, we are getting shafted in terms of that. And yes, it's affecting our ability to get adequate bandwidth and networking and all of those things.
Yeah, because I noticed that lots of times when they are asking for information, the first thing they want to know is your zip code.
Zip code, exactly.
And that's definitely a way of redlining. Right. What is your zip code? Okay, yeah, I got it. So you're going to send me an inferior product, huh? Yeah.
I say another case for reparations.
If I could just chime in, Michelle is exactly right. I go back with my technology background back to the early 80s when there was no cable TV in all of New York City except for Manhattan. When they gave out those franchises, the franchisees redlined all the Black and brown and low income neighborhoods. They took 10 years to get to some neighborhoods in central Brooklyn and East New York and the South Bronx. And what they said at the time was, oh, well, you know, the folks can't afford the service. We have to go to the wealthy areas first to subsidize our build-up, which is, of course, a joke, especially given what voracious consumers Black folks are.
Black people are,
media. Okay, we buy more of that than anybody else. But anyway, their racist mindset continues. And today you see the same thing with the internet. Verizon, for instance, got a cable TV franchise from the city of New York about 10 years ago, promised to build fiber optic cable, which is very high capacity, throughout the city. They did not. Something like 20-30% of the city has fiber. The areas of the city, you know the areas of Michelle and Joyce, because you just said it. Areas of the city where they have not built out their fiber, which has the real high, robust capacity. So yes, the redlining continues, and it's just part of their mentality. And they can't let go of it, even in the face of statistics that show what big consumers we are. They still just they can't resist their own racist tendencies, and that's that's just how it is.
Right.
So we have to think of some action. All right.
I think the action is, what we're doing. We got to take control ourselves.
Yeah,
I think in my mind, it's useless to try and lobby these giant corporations. Oh, come help us. Not gonna do it until it's in their economic self-interest. Just not gonna do it.
It's
so
not
we're
gonna
doing
happen.
things that we're building community networks that are owned and operated by folks on the ground in the community. That's our way of attacking the problem. And I think that is a way to get around these monopolies and start to take control of our own resources and needs in our own communities. I think, in my mind, that's the way the solution.
So Stuart, I have one thing I wanted to just say in response to that, because, you know, based upon what we do know about our consumption, one of the things I would love for some young person to do is to start a Black Facebook, a Black Twitter, a Black Instagram, because I think with the talent, especially the creative talent,
Somebody has that.
People have, it would outshine anything out there. And I really don't know how, you know, but I wanted to, I actually put that on Facebook. I said, can somebody tell me a Black alternative to Facebook? Because you know, once Trump got elected, I tried to do everything I could to buy everything that was Black owned. And the social media is so white and so white owned that it really is almost impossible. And I know they gobble up everything because they're so big now, you know, their monopoly is so big. But I really think that if you think about the creativity within our kids, because they steal everything of ours anyway.
Our children.
It would take, I mean, it would outshine them in a second.
That's right. I'd love to see that too, Michelle. I really would. I mean, Facebook has a hell of a start. They've got something like 2 billion customers globally. So their head start is incredible, but still, you know, David and Goliath. So, you know, I'm with you, and I would support that, encourage that. I'm too old to figure that stuff out, the social media stuff out, but I would certainly support and encourage young folks to go down that road. I think that's great.
Well, Judge Mathis has his own network, somebody just told me, so maybe that might be a start.
Can't hear you, talking a little too loud. Soften up. Joyce?
Huh?
Yeah, say it a little softer. I'm writing.
I said Judge Mathis has his own network, and maybe that would be a starting point, putting the information on his network. I was surprised to hear that because I knew he had left TV, but I didn't realize he had started his own network.
Well, you know, that's the power of the internet, in that we all have access to it, and we all have the ability to start our own channel, our own network on the internet with little to no money. You've got platforms out there that like YouTube and others, and you just got the web itself in terms of putting your stuff out there on a website or whatever. So there are ways to make your programming available universally, well, at least globally, I should say. The trick is making people aware and driving what they call traffic, making people aware so that they tune into your channel. There's so much stuff on the internet. How do folks decide, oh, let me go here, let me go there? I don't even know about the Himani network, for instance. So that's the real trick. But I think what Michelle said is really our backdoor way in. If we can start to corral some of the social media that the young people just consume so voraciously, and point it towards productive platforms that we control, that we own, I think that's the start of maybe us taking control of the media and using it, as opposed to just, you know, using it to produce and to own, as opposed to just being mere consumers.
Well, it's my understanding that there is a Black Facebook, a so-called answer to Facebook. I just don't know the name of it. I can do some research. And
nobody knows it. Everybody's.
Nobody here knows.
Once you find out, let me know.
Nobody in this group knows it, but we can probably.
Okay, well, let me know.
Knows it. And if we can, once we get that information, if we can pool it all together, we might be able to meet again, meet soon, and make sure certain areas are touched. You know, I'm sure there are people in various cities who are aware of this. Okay.
So speaking of Black owned, I'll just let you guys know there is a Black owned streaming service that has Black content in terms of film and short stories and all kinds of stuff that is incredible. And it's called Quelli TV. KWELI TV.
Yeah, I saw that somewhere.
And it's I belong to it, and it's owned by a young black woman. It's owned by a young black woman, and she was named one of in the top. I think in the top 20 or top 12 of streaming services. Like she's competing with Netflix and HBO, and she was in their company. So that just gives you an idea of just how creative our people are. And she started off with literally a $20,000 grant. That was all she had. And she's in the top 12 with the Netflix of the world, which are, worth like $6 billion, I think now.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good for her.
Share that with us. KWELI.
KWELI TV.
Okay.
I think she was on one of the TV shows. They've talked about her. A young girl out in Brooklyn has her own cosmetic line, 16 years old. I mean, our children are doing things. We just don't know.
Yeah.
Our young people are doing things.
And that's what we need to do is pull all that information together too and share.
Exactly.
That's part of,
Well, let me tell you all this. Trump has told us to boycott Goodyear tires. I don't know what he's mad at Goodyear for, but my brother said, I need tires. He says, I'm going to Goodyear. I said, do me a favor. Wait, I told my brother, now I don't drive and I don't have a car. I told my brother, when you buy the two you need, get a third one because I'm going to support Goodyear, okay?
Yep.
Told him, get a third tire. I'll give you the money. Trump told us to boycott it. Boycott it. Here, buy 3 tires from him, okay?
Okay.
I tell you, this is just getting out of hand. But it's a good idea to list the black-owned businesses that we know of. Some woman was fighting Target, and they finally had to put her products, uncover them or put them up front or something. Another young black girl, Honey Pot or something like that.
Pot. Do you know what that is, right?
Cosmetics? I don't know.
No, it's not cosmetics. It's cosmetics for a certain area of your body.
Oh, yeah, I heard about it. Yeah.
Below the waist. The honey pot.
Oh, okay. Okay. Interesting.
I'm sure that'll sell.
Interesting.
What we can do as a group here, if you hear of any black-owned businesses, jot them down and send it to me, and I'll pull it together. So far, Honey Pot, Quelly, and
Bell Bar Organics. Bell Bar Organics. BELLE BAR Organics. It's owned by 3 black women, a mother and her 2 daughters, and they have all organic hair products. And then the other one is Lip Bar. If you like lipsticks, it's a vegan lipstick.
So that's 4 or 5 that I've written down. So
okay, that's good.
Joyce, if you could, Norman and Leroy.
I need to wake up.
Excuse me?
They're in New. Yeah, somebody dozed off. They're in New York.
Completely out.
Well, we'll find out. If you can say where to purchase them, let us know too.
Yeah, because Tuesday is my black spending day, and I look for black businesses on Tuesdays.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is a good
interesting.
Bell Bar is Bell Bar Organics, to my knowledge, is only on the internet.
Okay.
But the lip bar, they're in Target and a bunch of places.
Okay.
Oh, good. Good to know. Lip bar. Okay.
Gina, maybe your daughter knows of some. JE. I mean, we do know of black restaurants through JE, and her daughter. Many of them. So let us know if you can list them and send them to me. I'll pull them together, or I'll get
Okay.
someone to pull it together. Vina,
Auntie,
J.E.
Black-owned restaurant.
Okay, so we're sort of wrapping up now. I have to thank Stu again, devoting his time and talent.
We bored somebody.
Yes, we did.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. So let's just pull all those products together. And
So Esther, you want to build on that list of Black-owned businesses, right?
yeah, thanks for repeating it, because someone was
Yeah.
talking. Yeah.
Yeah. And be as supportive as we can. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I'll my list.
Say it again.
I will send you my list.
Okay, terrific. All right. And what happened to Norman? I'll give him another 5 minutes, and then we're going to sign off and be on time today. Did Norman fall asleep?
Yeah, talking about. Yeah,
I don't believe that.
he must have thought we were talking about lady stuff and didn't want to hear it.
Okay, Leroy.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I think Norman might have fallen asleep. So you want to wrap up the God Within, and then we're going to sign off.
Well, the God within is demonstrated. I've seen demonstrated in every meeting that I've been in with the group. Folks having an opportunity to sharpen one another. It says where two or more are gathered, so am I. And the knowledge that we lead with enables us to grow. The God within, once again, gives us the responsibility to grow, to read, to interact. And where we don't know, we have to ask questions. And then when we see someone, the way this meeting has ended in terms of supporting Black businesses, a good word, getting the book that Sister Jay Franklin has coming out and sharing it, we all grow. Last but not least, the Tulsa, Oklahoma example is done on a small scale, supporting one another. So that's the actional part, some of the actional part of what we have come out of this meeting with this evening. And next time, ask Stu to talk about what they did over in East Harlem with the school that had computers, but they couldn't interact within the school, nor could they interact with the students' homes, which surround that particular school.
Yeah.
And that's a great story that I saw personally, what they did, that Spectrum and Verizon and the rest of these guys would not do.
Wow.
So,
yeah, I want to hear more about that.
Yeah.
Because that's where my head is, because I don't really know of some of the work that you and Doug and all have done, and the roadblocks.
Yeah, well, we can get into that on another show, but
yeah, we will. Yeah.
Nutshell is community networks and folks on the ground taking control and providing service for ourselves. That's really the bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
That's excellent.
And the last thing is the UN session that you were a part of. It's online, right?
Yes, if you look on our ddpny.org, you can find the UN presentation that I made, as well as some of the community forums that we've had with some of our colleagues and folks that are involved in trying to grow this whole community network thing. Just a quick aside, I'm also on the board of directors of the Internet Society, which is a global organization that promotes access and use of the internet by everyone across the planet. So that's kind of given me a little bit more of a platform, and that's how I got to the UN, through my association with the Internet Society. So that's something else you might want to check out as you peruse our websites, and you'll probably see their logo on some of our sites. Click and check them out. And
So
feel free to join as well. We need more Black folk to join the Internet Society to raise our voice in what's predominantly a white organization.
Okay.
Michelle, we can't hear you. You muted.
Say it again.
Michelle
Can you
is trying
just
to
repeat?
speak.
Yeah, can you just repeat what you just said, Stuart?
I said I'm also on the board of directors of the Internet Society. And if you go on like safeandsmart.org, you'll see a link to the Internet Society Foundation as well to the Internet Society. You might want to check them out. And I would also encourage folks to join the New York chapter of whichever board member. We need more Black representation in the Internet Society, which is largely a white organization. So
what is the criteria for joining?
Nothing, no criteria. A human being.
Oh, okay. All right.
And it's free.
Oh,
Good.
okay. Even better.
Best price.
That's a right price.
That was
Yes.
very good information.
Best.
Okay.
But please contact me if and when you join, just so I can know you're there and we can like connect.
Okay.
Okay.
All righty.
And I think Esther's going to send around this video as well as the video from yesterday with the reading by Bonnie Burroughs. And Esther, if you forward it, what I send you, everyone will also see my email address, which is Stu Reed, my name, StuReed@live.com.
Okay. We'll do that as soon as we get
Thank
off.
you all.
Okay. Thanks for your time yesterday and today. I appreciate it.
That was StuReed@live.com.
That's right, StuReid.
REID.
I'll send it to you.
Oh, I had your name all, okay.
That's all right. My grandmother spelled it wrong for 20 years.
Okay. All righty.
I was named after her last name, which is STEW.
Okay.
But my dad had other ideas, so I'm STU.
Yeah. STU. Well, they loved you. That's all that matters.
There you go. There you go. That's
What's in a name?
That's right.
Okay. It's a good 2 days. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
All right.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye.
Yeah.